Welcome and let your journey to soul expansion begin. I'm your host, Kristen Kaczynski. This show will take you on a journey of expansion, encouraging you to release the limitations of your mind and lean into the wisdom of your soul. Remembering who you are on a soul level will help you release your conditioning, expectations, limiting beliefs, fears, and worries, and evoke a life expanded by your energetic alignment. Whether you're an entrepreneur who wants to grow your income and impact, or someone who knows in your heart of hearts that you're made for more, this podcast will help you awaken the power that's already inside of you, allowing you to attract an easy flow of money, clients, opportunities, and fulfillment. In each episode, you'll learn something new, expand your consciousness, and you'll walk away with a glimpse of what's truly possible for you. If you're ready to follow your soul's calling and live a more expansive life, you're in the right place. Welcome, and let your journey to soul expansion begin.
So at the time I'm recording this, I actually just moved through a big point of resistance in my business. And I thought it would be really helpful for you to understand how I approach resistance in my business. Because so often we're trained to turn away or push through resistance, right? You know, what do people say in the online space? Like, messy action, right? Like just get shit done and fix it later. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think so often we get stuck in inaction in our business because our overthinker comes online and our wounded childhood parts come online. And then it just feels so challenging to take any action whatsoever. So I do think there's some truth to throwing spaghetti at the wall, messy action, all these things we hear about what to do in the online space. And I also think that there is a lot of emphasis on pushing through resistance instead of sitting with. And first, I want to talk about why this in the long run is not going to serve you and what to do instead, right? So, why should we not push through resistance? Well, first of all, there's different types of resistance and they come from different dimensions of us, right? So there's the kind of resistance that is a growing pain where it's like it's going to require more action, more effort, more commitment from us. And so there can be resistance that's healthy that comes up there because it's going to challenge us to grow, right? So that is a form of resistance that you want to meet, right? You want to meet it head on and you want to move through it, holding yourself in the discomfort. But there's another kind of resistance that we often face in our business, which is, I guess I would define it more as misalignment, right? So sometimes resistance can come up in our business because we're just plain on the wrong track, right? We're just not doing what our soul wants to be doing, and we're still unconscious to that. And so we don't know exactly why the resistance is coming up, maybe, but we just know we don't want to do this. There's a lot of resistance to this. And so how do you know if it's one or the other? Well, I think you just know, right? Like if it's something you really truly desire to be doing and there's a lot of resistance coming up, sit with it, but chances are it's probably more of like the growing pains, right? But if it's something that you're finding yourself saying, I don't really want to do that, like I want this result, but I don't want to do that in order to get that result, right? Like that was my recent experience. Then that may be just a sign that it's not the right path for you. And the only way to know for sure is to sit with it. So what do I mean by sit with it? I mean, do some personal inquiry, meditate on your resistance. Maybe journal if you're not if you're not a regular meditator, although I think so much power comes when we train ourselves to be good meditators because we actually have access to the divine intelligence inside of our own system, right? Like we have access to every answer we could possibly need. And there's a dimension of us that is all knowing, right? We have that access. So if you're not a meditator yet, that's a practice that if it feels accessible to you, I would highly encourage you to start practicing it because there's just so much, I don't know, there's so much richness that we don't even know about that's inside of our brains and well, not really our brains, more like our souls, but you know what I mean. So anyway, when you're coming up against resistance, how do you sit with it? Well, number one, you can meditate on it. You can also journal on it. So you could ask yourself questions like, why am I feeling resistant to this? Why am I not wanting to do this? Where is this resistance coming from? Right? These are some great questions to either meditate or journal on. And then it's recognizing, okay, who has this resistance, right? Because sometimes it's a childhood part that has the resistance, and that's because maybe there's some healing that needs to be done. Maybe there's some fear that this little one has when it thinks about expanding into the next level. Maybe there's some discomfort when this one thinks about being seen in a bigger way or stepping into more of a leadership role or truly claiming her desires, in which case you can support that part of you and give her that love and encouragement and, maybe book a session with me and do some deeper healing on that if you need support there. But if that's where it's coming from, then okay, it's not that this is a misaligned action or a misaligned next step. It's actually an aligned step, but there's parts of me that fear that expansion, right? And so you can hold yourself in that. And then if on the other hand, it's resistance that's coming from your higher self, your soul, your millionaire woman, whatever, phrase you identify with for that future version of you, well, then it's out of alignment, right? So the example I'm thinking of for myself was I was having so much resistance to my marketing, and I couldn't get my energy behind a lot of the trends that are common on one of my main platforms, Instagram right now. And even TikTok. I've started to restart TikTok. We'll see if I keep that up. But as I was like analyzing my marketing, I just was noticing I have so much resistance to even doing this. But my desire is to, massively grow my platforms. Like that is a true desire I have. It's part of my 2022 goals. It's a heart-led desire. It's a soul-led desire. So I was sitting with myself over the weekend and I was asking myself, okay, why am I so resistant to this? And some of the first few things that came up were I just plain don't want to do it, right? I'm not afraid to admit that. There was that lazy component coming through. So there was an element of me that just didn't want to do the actual work to grow the platforms. And I was realizing that I'm not lit up by growing a platform anymore. Even though I want to serve more people and I want, more people to know about me and more people to find out about me and more people to be able to join my programs, I don't get lit up or excited by the thought of growing my social media platforms. And so at first I thought to myself, well, maybe this is something that I'm finally ready to outsource. And I sat with it a bit more. I kind of kept meditating on it. I think I meditated for 2 hours on Saturday. Y'all, I love my meditations. One of my professional goals is to heal my entire generation. And I know that sounds like a big, hairy, audacious goal, but it's true. It's something that I think is my soul's calling. It's why I'm here. It's why I have my business. It's why I do the work that I do. And my first phase of starting to bring this healing to a bigger audience has been with the creation of the Soul Expansion membership. And you guys have heard me talk about it on the podcast. It's been, mentioned since the very beginning of this show. And I am just overwhelmed with joy and excitement as I look at the community and the membership that we've created. We have a private Slack community where our members are super active. They're supporting each other. They're helping each other through mindset blocks and energy blocks. And I pop in there once or twice a week to offer additional support to our members. And we have monthly live healings where everyone gets on the call, and the energy on these calls is just, it's magic. I mean, having this community live on a call every single month is something that lights my soul on fire. I mean, it gives me that taste of what it's going to be like as my company grows and as we expand to help people even beyond business owners, because the Soul Expansion membership is intended for entrepreneurs. So if you don't know what the Soul Expansion membership is, this is a vibrant community where we have a private Slack channel. There's 4 monthly healings, 3 are pre-recorded, 1 is live, and it's always on a business, mindset, or energetic theme. So we've covered topics like receiving, divine feminine energy, launching challenges. Future months, we're going to be covering things like releasing imposter syndrome, releasing comparison, millionaire mindset and energy, feeling deep embodied worthiness, embodying overflow. You know, all of these things that we want to be able to step into, expand into, grow into, so that we can grow our income and impact without having to hustle or burn ourselves out or get into this trap of the wounded masculine. And this program's $111 per month. We kept it as affordable as we possibly could so that we could serve more people with this beautiful mission. And if you'd like to be a part of it, you can get started now at mysoulexpansion.com. Again, it's mysoulexpansion.com. And even though it is so affordable, it is still incredibly high impact. I mean, I've had more than one member tell me that after doing even just one healing in the Soul Expansion membership, they've been able to sign a client. Whereas before they joined, maybe they were getting stuck in traps of scarcity, or they weren't able to receive, or whatever it was. So this is not low quality healing. This is high quality stuff. We just are able to offer it for an affordable price because it is more self-paced and more community driven versus, private coaching. So we hope you'll join us, mysoulexpansion.com, and let's get back to the show. So I sat with it more and more, and then I started to realize, wait, that's not quite right. Like, yes, I can see myself outsourcing a lot of like the manual tasks, like the optimization, the hashtags, the cover photos for reels, the cover, like all the little like menial tasks that you have to do over and over and over again for social media. As you're being consistent, I could totally see myself outsourcing those elements. But then there was something else coming up for me, because then I was like, but what I really want, like what I really truly want, what my soul really wants, is to be like the monk. And I laugh a little bit, but this is exactly what I told my mentor. I want to be the monk who aligns her energy in the morning, meditates for an hour or two, channels wisdom from the divine, shows up, coaches her clients, maybe goes live and channels wisdom, leads meditations, and just is the monk, right? And my version of a monk is bougie and makes a lot of money and, manifests everything her heart desires, right? So maybe monk is not quite the right word here. But the energy of it was, I want to be really connected to my spirituality and to the divine intelligence. And I want to be a channel for that for the masses so that I can, serve my community. And so I realized that, okay, well, maybe I can outsource my marketing, but actually the real resistance is with the marketing paradigm itself. Because I was still operating, and as I dove deeper into this within myself, I was still operating from this lens of I have to, or I'm not enough, so I need this type of marketing. And so what I really came to realize with this resistance in my business was that, okay, yes, I can hire out some of this stuff, but also it still won't be aligned if I hire it out as is. It still won't feel expansive and abundant and coming from this loving, heart-centered place if I outsource my marketing as it stands now. And that's because my marketing as it stands now in late January, early February is very much based on, let me strategically do this thing so that people will know that they want to buy from me. And if I'm really leaning into overflow and like marketing from overflow, if I'm like really leaning into that and realizing I am enough, I have enough, it's visible to others that I am enough. Like if I really lean into that and embody that, I would not be marketing the way that I'm marketing at all. The way I would be marketing is I would be that bougie monk. I would be that channel for the divine intelligence, serving the collective through her marketing and through her paid offers. And so what started out as I'm feeling resistance to growing my social media platforms, which I could have pushed through and just forced myself to do, right? Like that was an option. Or I could have avoided the resistance and hired someone else to do it. That was also an option. But instead, I actually sat with that resistance for a long time, right? Like over the weekend, multiple meditations, multiple self inquiry sessions. And the ultimate discovery was that, oh, I'm marketing from scarcity. I'm not marketing from overflow. And so even if I hired someone else to do it, it wouldn't be effective in growing my platform because it's still coming from this lens of scarcity. The original intention behind this marketing strategy was I am not enough, therefore I need this strategy. Doesn't that give you chills? I wonder if your marketing strategy feels like that. Let's just kind of sit with that for a second. Are you marketing from this energy of I'm not enough, people can't see that I'm enough, therefore I need this strategy to show them that I am enough? Whereas marketing from overflow, which is what I'm shifting into, and by the time this episode is released, what you'll be witnessing on my social media. Marketing from overflow is giving from your heart and serving the collective at the deepest level you possibly can, trusting that it is enough, that you are enough, and that yes, people will be beating down your door to pay you. And it's not even about like strategically sharing why they should pay you, but it's letting the magic speak for itself and letting your magic speak for itself. It's a deeper level of magnetism because it's actually coming from this energy of overflow, right? And when we can market from overflow, when we can market from this heart-centered place of like, I have so much to give and it takes nothing away from me to give this. Like I actually fill up my cup all the way until it's overflowing, and then I share from this deep well of abundance with my community and with the collective. When we market from that place, the very fabric of our marketing is overflow. Therefore, it's impossible to not experience overflow financially in our business. Right? And so I'm excited to see the results with this. And I'll definitely keep you updated here on the podcast. But I want to go ahead and finish this quicker episode with just something to ponder for you and for your business. And that is, where am I meeting resistance? And why is this resistance here? What is the deeper truth about this situation that I'm feeling resistant to? And then, if I were coming from the energy of overflow, of believing and trusting that I am more than enough and that more than enough is always coming to me, if I were coming from that energy, how would I navigate this situation? Would I hire out? Would I let go of this task, trusting that I'm enough even without it? Would I delegate? Would I do something completely different? Would I overhaul my entire marketing strategy because it just doesn't feel abundant to me? What would I do if I truly came from this energy of trust and deep embodied belief that I am enough, that I do enough, and that more than enough is always coming to me? What would change then? That's what I have for you. If you like this episode, send me a quick DM on Instagram or post it to your stories so I know that you like these types of episodes. And until next week, I'm Kristen Kaczynski. Have a great rest of your week and a beautiful weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for honoring your soul's calling today and taking the time to listen to this episode of the Soul Expansion Podcast. If you have a question you'd like featured or have a topic idea, I would love to hear from you. Find me on Instagram at Kristen Kaczynski and send me a DM with your request. Remember, you are a truly limitless being. The limits you see now are only an illusion. Whatever it is that you desire, that's already yours. It already exists in the universe here and now. You simply have to awaken to what you already have. And I hope this episode brought you a little closer to that truth. If you love this episode and would like to give from your heart in appreciation, please take a few moments to screenshot it and tag me in your stories on Instagram, or write a brief review on your favorite podcast platform. Your voice truly matters, and your feedback helps to spread abundant expansion to a broader audience. And what a gift that is, right? Just think about how much abundance will come back to you if you help a friend experience their own soul expansion. And with that, I just want to say thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, I'm Kristen Kaczynski, and I love you.